Their point guard, I don't know what he runs in a 40, but that man is quick.
I fuck with the Spiders, man. And just Richmond in general is a good place to hang out. I'm going to pick them just off the strength.
Like out of love for Crocodile Hunter, I thought you were going to go Stingray, and you were just going to choke it out, baby. Get your revenge.
Good people. I'm just, man, I'm going to have like a Yes Jam session after this. It's great.
Yeah, they're so good.
How's the journey?
Fitzmagic in September is like one of the hottest athletes in the world.
I would
Whoever's fighting for that that's the worst take.
Exactly.
That's a bad beat.
Traditional football, or throw beer cans and jump off the top rope and elbow defender. I don't know.
10 seconds.
Episode 96, Pub Sports Talk coming at you. And we got a very special guest, a young man who has done more with his 26 years on this earth than most people could dream about so far. And it's only looking up.
Hacky freeze.
Do we lose Parker already? Oh, man.
Right as we're going. Oh, that's
Well,
Parker, are you there?
If you don't laugh, you cry.
Oh, I
That's
think we
hilarious.
actually lost him.
Oh,
Oh, there he is.
Hey.
Episode 96, starting with the glitch, but we're back, baby. Good. We got the one and only Adam Breneman with us, baby. Give a round of applause.
Woo! Thanks for being on, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
I appreciate you, man. We know you're super busy, but we're so glad you carved out a couple minutes to talk to us because you've been blowing up on social media, especially TikTok. You've kind of just creeped up in my algorithm, and then it seems like you've just exploded, which has been awesome to watch, man. How's that journey been?
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I've been listening to people for long enough tell me that I should be posting on TikTok. I've heard Gary Vee say it about 1 million times, so I decided to actually start doing it. So it's been fun, though. It's been fun learning how to do it and everything, and working with some really good people that are kind of doing a lot of that. So they're helping me out with a lot of the production stuff. So it's been cool just to tell stories and tell stories about football that people don't know about and give them a different perspective, given some of my experiences as a player and a coach and as a recruit and things like that. So it's been fun.
Yeah, dude, it's been real eye-opening. You even sat down with Kenny Pickens the other day. I think you got a couple other draft guys you're going to sit down and talk about, which is pretty dope as well. And you kind of get the behind the scenes, like you said, and you being a former blue, five-star prospect and a guy who played at Penn State and UMass and stuff, you know what these guys have gone through a little bit. So it's kind of cool to hear you talk to them.
Yeah, it's been fun. I like you said, I did an interview with Kenny Pickett, which was pretty cool. Spent like an hour and a half with him at his house in New Jersey and just got to talk to him about a lot of different things. And, it's been cool with some of the relationships I've had with some of the guys. I've known Kenny for a long time. And, it's been exciting and just kind of being able to tell their story and talk to them in a way that's a little different than most interviews I do, and I know Kenny's done a lot of stuff, but he was kind of able to open up and tell a little bit behind the scenes of different things and, different, some funnier side and more personal side of things. So it's been cool. I got one coming out with Pat Fryermuth, the Steelers tight end, tomorrow. And then we got Mike Gesicki's episodes coming out. Chase Edmonds, the new Dolphins running back, going to be coming out soon. So we got some cool things on the docket. Hunter Henry, the tight end for the Patriots. So a lot of cool stuff we're working on and just trying to get it all put together. As you guys know, it's producing. It's the hard part. So the actual interview is the easy part.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Man, that's awesome. I'm excited to catch those. Now with Kenny, I mean, did you have to not show your hand close to him because he has the small hands and stuff? We didn't want the prospects to see him. That stuff is so blown out of proportion, right? Like it's crazy.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, we actually talked about that a little bit. I keep saying it. It's you always know when it gets to be around combine time, it starts to be small hands, and every year you hear about a quarterback's hand size. It was Christian Hackenberg in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
It was Joe Burrow. They've had everyone. So, but Kenny's a good sport about it. But yeah, he thinks it's pretty funny. But it's interesting. We talked on the interview I did with him about just all the drills. He was actually doing drills to stretch out his hand leading up to the combine. He actually he actually didn't measure his hands at the Senior Bowl so that he could wait to do it at the combine, so he had more time to stretch his hand every night. So he was practicing, getting ready for that measurement. Yeah,
Like,
but
not in
I'm
my
not sure.
wildest
I mean,
dreams.
dude, yeah, you guys know size doesn't really matter though. I mean, it's it's not a big deal.
No, especially him balling at Pittsburgh outside in the cold. Like, if he can grip a ball there, he's fine anywhere.
For sure.
Like, come on. Yeah.
For sure.
Wild. Well, hey, let's talk about your journey a little bit. You grow up in Pennsylvania and you become just this amazing athlete, 5-star prospect, like we said, and you choose Penn State. Why Penn State? And how was your time at Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, my recruiting process was kind of a journey of a bunch of different schools and offers, and just kind of blew up overnight and had like 30 some offers at the end of the day, and really went to Penn State. Bill O'Brien was the head coach there, so Bill O'Brien showed me film of Gronk and Aaron Hernandez and kept saying that we're going to use you because he had just come from the Patriots. So he just kept telling me they're going to use me like they used Gronk and Hernandez. So that sold me, and I ended up going to Penn State. And it's a great place, man. I mean, there aren't many fan bases as passionate as the fans of Penn State, and I had a really good time and learned a lot and had some success, but also some setbacks and injuries. But ended up graduating from there, and I'll always be a Penn State guy. And I was also there during a really interesting time during the scandal and the Penn State scandal that went on in 2012. And it feels like forever ago now, but as you guys probably remember, that whole Jerry Sandusky scandal that went on, and we were there right in the middle of all that. So it was definitely an interesting time to be at Penn State.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you brought that up. How was that like? Because it seems like overnight, like shit hit the fan almost on you guys, and it was like everybody was leaving for the transfer portal, like right out, and it was kind of like looking around like Fresh Prince, like where'd everybody go? Like what happened? How was that experience for you?
I mean, yeah, it was crazy. So I was committed to Penn State when the sanctions came out against Penn State, which basically said that Penn State can't play in bowl games. Penn State is going to lose however many scholarships every year. Every player can transfer immediately. That was way before the transfer portal happened. So it was like the wild, wild west at Penn State, man. It was crazy, and decided to still go to Penn State. But it was nuts. I mean, it was everyone kind of thought it was the death penalty for the program, and that everyone would that everyone would leave and the program would never be the same. And then it ended up Penn State ended up being pretty good there, like the next year or the year after. So it was kind of remarkable, and it was a cool thing to be a part of because you really felt like you were playing for something bigger than just yourself, and you were playing for a university that was struggling and a fan base that needed some hope because it was a dark time in Penn State's history to be there. But it was cool to kind of be there during that and then come out on the other side.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I can imagine. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Now, this is a personal question for me. Ty Howe, were you in the same class as Ty Howe?
No, so Ty is older than me, but I know Ty really well. He's now the tight ends coach at Penn State. Yeah, he was a senior when I was a freshman.
Okay. I couldn't remember the math of it. Okay, I coached with his dad, so that was just a personal question.
Oh, awesome. Okay, yeah, no, Ty's an awesome dude. He was a starting center my freshman year, so I was playing tight end. He was a starting center, and obviously he's coaching now. He's killing it. He's young as heck, and he's the tight ends coach at Penn State, and he's got a bright future.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Well, you graduate Penn State, you got 2 years left of eligibility, and you choose UMass. Why the Minutemen?
Yeah, funny story. So my roommate in college at Penn State was a guy named Austin Whipple. Austin Whipple's dad was a guy named Mark Whipple, who was a longtime Steelers quarterbacks coach, NFL assistant, Eagles assistant, offensive coordinator at Miami, and then he had just gotten the head coaching job at UMass. So Mark Whipple was my connection there, and when I decided to leave Penn State, it was kind of a no-brainer just because Coach Whipple was like, "I'll throw you the ball 15 times a game, so come to UMass," and that was enough for me. I didn't want to block anybody, so that was enough for me to go to UMass. So it was fun, and it ended up working out. I mean, caught a ton of passes. We didn't win a whole lot of games, but it was a fun time.
Oh, dude, absolutely, yeah. You're gonna throw the ball 15 times my direction. Where do I sign? I don't blame you at all.
It sold me. It sold me for sure.
That's what's up. Well, you go from UMass, and you're this 5-star prospect. I'm sure, especially you being younger, you're like, hey, I'm going to the league, and then like you said, injuries kind of derailed it for you. How was that adjusting from I'm league bound to Oh man, I physically cannot because of injuries.
Yeah, good question. I mean, it was a tough 2 years. You know, when I was at UMass, you know, I always had the goal of playing in the NFL. I had a left knee injury that was pretty bad for most of my career, without a real way to fix it. I had surgery on it a couple times, but basically there was a piece of cartilage in my knee. I'll save you guys all the details, but a piece of cartilage in my knee that wasn't able to be repaired because there's no blood flow to cartilage in your knee. So it basically was like bone on bone in my knee. You can't fix it. Same injury that Greg Oden stopped playing basketball for him. If that's always what I remember, he retired right when after he got drafted. So same injury as that Greg Oden had. But you know, you can kind of prolong it, and I was prolonging it, and you know, was having success at UMass. But the reality at UMass is I wasn't practicing. I was getting shot up before games with painkillers and anti-inflammatories. You know, I would just go out and do walkthroughs. I wasn't lifting. I was just trying to figure out a way to do it. But with the goal to get to the NFL, hide my knee from the NFL, and then once I'm in the NFL, like tell them how bad my knee is and try to get any kind of surgery I can to fix it. And just hopefully get paid for a little bit, but knowing that I can't play for a long time. And that was kind of the reality that I knew, and my agent knew, and my dad knew, my family knew, but no one else knew it because it was we tried to keep it a big secret from the NFL. Because if you talk to the NFL, they thought I was going to be like a top pick, and no one knew how bad my knee really was. You know, right when I finished at UMass, I just had 2 All-American seasons. I was going to the Senior Bowl. I started training for the draft, and we realized pretty quickly once training started that like I couldn't even run without getting shot up with painkillers and stuff. I was like limping around. I saw a bunch of, you know, I went to see Dr. Andrews, the famous doctor. He's all over the place, but I went to see him in Florida. Saw the Steelers team doctor. It was going all over the place trying to figure out a way to fix my knee. And really just came to the realization pretty quickly that number one, you can't hide knee issues from the NFL because they figure everything out eventually. And just that I wasn't going to be able to keep playing with the way my knee was, and it was tough. But I mean, you know, it kind of is what it is, and I feel like I had a good career, and it was tough to be so close to the NFL and kind of have that happen. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of is what it is, man. It was a difficult time, but I was able to kind of you know, bounce back. And there was always things I wanted to do in life other than just play football. So, you know, people always like tell me they felt so bad for me, but I also got to live in a life and an experience that very few people ever get to live, playing college football and having the level of success I had. So, I'm grateful for it, and I wish my knee would have held up a little longer, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, man, absolutely. That's a great answer. And I think you said it in a couple of videos ago I saw where it's like your identity was not, hey, I'm a football player, because you knew chances are we're not going to make it. So you played football. That wasn't your identity. That's not who made you, which I thought was pretty dope to say. And so it's a lesson that a lot of young people need to learn, because it's an unforgiving sport. Once it's done with you, it chews you out and spits you out, and it's done. Like there's no coming back to it.
Yeah, and you see a lot of guys that have to retire for a lot of reasons, from whether they've had careers in the league or not, just struggle with mental health and struggle with a lot of things. You know, I said it in that video you're referring to, but you know, you can be really passionate and dedicated and make your whole sport your life and want to reach the pinnacle of success in it, but also not let it define you as a person. And the saying that I always tried to say, and I've heard a couple people say it, is football is what I do, but it's not who I am. And I think that's kind of, you know, the thing that I tried to remember throughout my time, whether it's like making sure I got my degree, whether it's connections wise and the people I'm going to meet. And, you know, I think that even something that I wish I would have done more when I was playing was just like building my personal brand of like, you know, and making more connections, because you're never going to be as relevant, and people are never going to care about you as much as they cared about you when you were having success playing football. So for a lot of guys, I was just talking to Chase Edmonds about this the other day, the Cardinals running back who's now with the Dolphins, and I was like, dude, you should be all over TikTok right now, because people are going to care about you more now than they ever will. And it's something I wish I would have done more of, but you know, I think I did a decent job of just remembering that like it's going to end someday. For me, it ended sooner than I wanted it to, but you know, even if you have a great career, you still have, you know, 3/4 of your life left where you haven't, you know, 1/3, 3/4 of your life where like you got to figure out what you're going to do. And most people, it's interesting because most people, regular people, like they peak in their life when they hit like 40s, and you're like, oh, I'm making the most amount of money. I'm making, you know, I'm finally thriving, like with a family. Like for pro athletes, you peak when you're like 23. and then it's all downhill from there. So it's definitely a weird dynamic that people struggle with a lot. That I'm very cognizant of and have sympathy for.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Love to hear it. Boys, any questions for Adam before we kind of put him on a hot seat here?
Yeah, I've got a quick question. How did you get involved with running Mike Reagan's campaign while you're at Penn State? This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a good question. That's funny. So actually, there was a time period between when I left Penn State to when I went to UMass. There was like a 4-month gap in between there where I was like deciding what I was going to do, where I was going to go. And Mike Regan was a family friend that was running for Senate in Pennsylvania, and I just like came back and started working for him and helping him out. And I think I liked the political thing because it was so competitive that it was like playing a football game. It's just like gloves are off, or just nailing each other every way you can. So that was fun. Yeah, I spent a few months in politics and had a good time. It's not Politics is definitely not for me though. It's a brutal business, but I spent some time in it. I learned a lot, met some really good people, and yeah, Mike Regan, he's still a senator in Pennsylvania, and he's a good friend.
Oh wow, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Is there any, you sort of slightly touched, is there any correlation between football, American football, and politics? The roughness, the brutality of it, I guess.
I would definitely say that. Yeah, I mean the brutality, like you said, the roughness, the nastiness. I mean, also just the competitiveness from the stakes being very, very high. I mean, in football, as you see, like if you lose a game, you got coaches that could lose $10 million jobs, and athletic departments that can go down the tank, and ADs that get fired, and players that get benched and lose money and contracts, and then same with politics. You got guys that have their jobs on the line every 2 years running for office. So yeah, there's a lot of correlations. I think just it's very high stakes, very cutthroat. It's almost everyone that's in it kind of has that life or death mentality almost every single day, and it can be stressful and probably not great for a quality of life standpoint. But it's exciting though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed obviously both things.
Fair. I mean, perfect. You wrapped it all up. Perfect. Great answer. I mean, yeah. Don't know what else to say other than that.
I got a question for you, Adam. So I feel like now more than ever, there's more of a spotlight on the tight end position, and we're seeing more tight ends line up in the wideout and the slots, like Kelsey. Jared Cook, I think in 2020 lined up like 80% of his snaps not in the tight end position. So
yeah,
just getting your perspective, how do you see the position evolving, and I guess where would you see it? Where would you see it evolving to? Because if you think like the quarterback is the peak of football right now, the peak position, I guess where do you see that tight end trend going?
Good question. I mean, it's definitely a sexy time to be a tight end. It used to not be cool to be a tight end. Like it used to be like the girls did not want to be with the tight ends. Like that was, but now it's like the cool thing to do. Like, and a lot of those guys, like you said, Kelsey and Kittle and even guys like Evan Ingram. Like a lot of guys have made it a cool position because they've had a lot of success playing it. So and obviously Gronk, like he's the one who really made it cool to play tight end. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting position. It's one, everyone's called a tight end, but really you have so many different types of guys in that role that really play different spots. And it's one of the only positions in football that you really think of other than like wide receiver a little bit, but that where you may call a guy a tight end, but like they line up all over the field in different spots based on what kind of tight end they are. Like if you're a running back, you may be a power running back or a speed running back, but you always line up at running back. Same with offensive line, same with quarterback. You may be a dual threat or pocket passer, but you just line up at quarterback. Tight end, you got guys like Mike Gesicki, Evan Ingram, guys like that who never line up in line, who are split out wide 80% of the time that we still call a tight end. So it's a complex position right now. And we always try to look for guys that can do multiple things and be multidimensional. I think the reality is that if a guy if a tight end is not going to be physical and block or provide any value in the run game or block on the perimeter, then a team will just put a wide receiver in the game. So if you're not going to block, you're just a big slow wide receiver. If you can't catch passes and run and stretch the field, then we'll just put an extra tackle in the game. So, you got to have guys that can do it all. And obviously people are going to have their strengths, but I think tight end will continue to be one of the premier positions in football just because of the versatility and the ability right now, contract wise, with the cap space. It's a position that isn't all that expensive to have good players at. So it's a lot easier to have a really good tight end than a really good wide receiver because of the money situation. So it's an exciting time to be a tight end. I'm excited to see the position evolve, and obviously a lot of those guys are some of my friends that play in the league now. So I'm excited to kind of see where it ends up and who ends up being the cream of the crop come a couple of years.
Yeah, that's a good point. I always think of like the Le'Veon Bell scenario where he's getting targets both out the backfield and and out wide, and so he's like, well, why don't you pay me like a wide receiver? And so I think like you mentioned, I think that's going to be coming to a head pretty soon with some of these tight ends where they're getting a lot of targets out wide. They're going to start getting paid the big bucks. So yeah, that's a good point.
And it's about that. I'm actually I literally just recorded a video talking about this with regards to Mike Gesicki, the Dolphins tight end who just got franchise tagged as tight end. Mm-hmm. As you guys probably know, that when a player gets franchise tagged, that basically means that they're with the team for one more year, and for that 1 year they get paid the top an average of the top 5 players, the top 5 highest paid players to that position. So Gesicki for 1 more year gets paid the average of the top 5 paid tight ends in the NFL. Well, Gesicki lined up 90% of his snaps at wide receiver last year. And as you know, the top 5 wide receivers make a lot more money than the top 5 tight ends. Difference of about $7 million over 1 year. So, there's a lot of controversy right now. Not sure if anything's going to come of it or if Gesicki is going to do anything about it, but some talk that Gesicki really should be tagged as a wide receiver, which would make him earn $18 million next year instead of $11 million, which is a big difference. So yeah, that whole thing's already starting up, with the receiver money versus the tight end money.
I guess my question just pertains with some of your interviews. So who have you been able to land for some interviews? And I guess which interview is the most surprising to you? And then is anyone on your radar that you haven't gotten to yet?
Yeah, so I've done 4 so far. Did Kenny Pickett, which already came out. Pat Freiermuth, which comes out tomorrow. The Steelers tight end. Did Chase Edmonds. We actually did that one in Arizona because he was with the Cardinals, now with the Dolphins. And then I did a joint one with Amani Oruwariye, the Lions corner, who was like second in the league in picks last year, and also Jason Kabinda, the Lions fullback, who is an awesome personality. So done those 4. Have a few more scheduled right now with Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry, like I said. Working on scheduling one with Christian Kirk, the Cardinals receiver. I know Saquon Barkley pretty well from Penn State, but getting him to do an interview is like getting the president to get on an interview. So I'm trying to get that one done right now. So got a lot of things in the cooker right now. So we'll see what we can get done. But of the ones I've done, I've been really, probably the most fun one was probably the one with the joint one with Amani Oruwariye and Jason Kabinda, just because those guys are 2 personalities, and it was kind of fun to all be together. We played together in college. Kenny Pickett was really cool just because of where he is from a national notoriety standpoint, and just getting the chance to spend some time with him and talk about things like the hand size thing and him getting engaged and what he's going to do when he gets paid all that money and his plans for the draft and a lot of different things and where he wants to go if he thinks he'll be the first quarterback pick. So things like that were pretty cool. Yeah, they've been really fun. It's been awesome to kind of have the guys open up a little bit and kind of tell their story and show fans a different side of the guys that you wouldn't see if you just watched an ESPN interview, or a Colin Cowherd interview, that you actually get to see them open up and get to go inside their home and make it more personal. So I've been having fun with it for sure.
That's awesome. Hey, yeah, I know you got to go here in about a minute or so. If you ever want to send those guys our way, feel free to send them our way. We'll take your leftovers, your sloppies. Well, we have one listener who wrote a couple questions. I'm just going to ask you one because I know you got to bounce here. Cool. But I thought it was a really fitting question because you jumped from being the youngest D1 coach to doing what you're doing now, making content and kind of becoming this personality. And she wanted to know, when do you stop calculating risk and rewards and just do it?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good one. Yeah, that's it's a good question because I think a lot of times we waste so much time in life like contemplating like what's going to happen if this happens and contemplating different scenarios and things like that. And I have this saying that I have it hanging up in my room, and it says something like ideas are shit if you can't execute. And and I always think that a lot of people have great ideas, and how do you make things happen? And then like this whole content thing was something that I had this idea for a while of like, I thought that there was a space that we, for more kind of internet TikTok personalities talking about football and telling stories and things like that. And there was some risk that went into it because I have to be vulnerable and be on camera, and you got to tell stories that you might not be comfortable telling, and you got to take advantage of some relationships you have, and be careful. Anytime I go in there and talk about who the best tight end in the NFL is, everyone that I don't say is in my DMs, getting angry about it. And so, there's things like that, but there's a chance that doesn't go well, so I think that at the end of the day, if there's a chance that something can be successful, I've kind of had the mentality of let's figure out if it can be or not. And if it's not, then we adapt and adjust. It's the kind of the great ones just kind of get things done. You just kind of doers instead of excuse makers, or instead of looking for why it's not going to work. So that's kind of been my mentality throughout my life, and that's kind of I think why I've done so many different things and been is just because I've been like, all right, let's do it. Let's see if it'll work and see if I like it and see how it goes. So, but yeah, it's a good question. I think like I think that just that quote, like I said, if ideas are nothing if you can't execute them.
Absolutely. Hey, great answer. I know you got to bounce real quick. Final four prediction. Who are you going to pick?
Oh, I just did a video on this yesterday. I mean, it's maybe like a homer pick, but Coach K is going to run off into the sunset and go off in paradise. The confetti's going to come down. He's going to be on a floaty on the beach somewhere for the rest of his life. Is one of the greatest of all time. So
I love to hear it. Good job. Hey, Adam, thank you so much. If there's anything you want to plug real quick, go for it, dude. And can't thank you enough for joining us. You're welcome back anytime.
I appreciate the time, guys. This was fun, and yeah, let me know. I'll hop on maybe in a few weeks or something. We do it again.
Hey, sounds good, brother.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, great conversation. Great dude. We only scratched the surface of what he's accomplished, which is truly amazing. I mean, dude has a wild life, and I can't wait to see where he goes from there. So pretty dope. Hopefully we can get him back on and dive into some more questions. Andy White, you had asked like 4 or 5 questions. I apologize we couldn't get to them all, but we had to get to our questions first. We were selfish, but that's all right. We'll get you next time, girl. I promise. Well, boys, we just had him on. Let's talk about a little NFL news, and let's start with that draft. Nope. I do this every week. You think one day I'll label it?
Who's our producer? Damn.
Fire him. All right. NFL draft is right around the corner. We're less than a month away from it. I've got to know, do you guys have any must-haves, some stay-aways, or sleepers in this draft that you're keeping an eye on?
My biggest one is Malik Willis. Anyone want to guess what category I'm putting him in?
That's skinny.
Must-have.
Oh, stay away. Sorry. No, I don't know. I feel like I can't even think of the statistics that I saw, but it was like his accuracy on what down was it? It wasn't pretty. Basically, if you kind of boil it down to the other quarterbacks, it was a pretty low accuracy percentage. Now that's not saying a whole lot, but the media at this time of the year, especially after a hot pro day, man, they're really gonna hype someone up. And I don't think the Lions are dumb enough to take him at 2 or even 32, but I would just stay away from him in the first round. I don't know if Carolina is going to get ballsy enough to try to trade up for him, but he's kind of a stay away early. I mean, if you can snag him like 2 or 3, I'm cool with it, but don't get in this race.
Some of his X Factor stuff, it's amazing. Like his pro day was electric. His film has been awesome, but he played at Liberty. He didn't play against SEC defense every weekend. So you're right. And I think it was his third down conversion that was pretty astronomically bad. I think you're right.
It reminds me of like a Jordan Love, you know. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I had to do it. But really, like a quarterback that
I think it's a good
great.
comparison.
Yeah, it looks great. You know, a great pocket presence. But like, what challenges did they face in college that you would feel pretty good about their potential in the NFL?
Yeah.
And I could be eating my words next year, but I wouldn't take them high. So that's kind of my stay away category.
I like it.
It's a weird. I mean, like when you said draft prospects, I was even trying to rack my brain. Like, who are the top? Like, just in other years, and maybe more recently, we've been spoiled with quarterbacks. I think that's why. Is like the past few drafts we've had like Burrow and Lawrence and Herbert and some big names. I would stay away from quarterback in this draft, just based on that alone. I just don't think this is. Everyone's making moves to get quarterbacks outside of the draft. And I think that's probably this is not a draft that is very flash on the offensive side. Now, defensively, I mean, Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, he was one that seemed can't miss during the season. Just wow, I don't think we've seen a safety like this in a while.
I mean, hash to hash, silent. He covers it.
Yeah, he's pretty outstanding. And then I don't really know. I mean, again, I think it's a defensive draft, so I think I would have to look more into some of these players and really get a feel. Just because I don't know, outside of some of the offensive positions, I just don't know a lot of these guys.
No, I think you're right. I wish we had Adam on a little bit longer because I like to pick his brain offensively because I think he studied these guys a little bit more than what we have. Because you're right, defense is what's this draft is known for right now. It seems like, and yes, you got Malik, and then you got Kenny from Pitt. What quarterbacks can be taken first? Are they worth a first round pick or maybe a second, third round pick? That's going to be up to teams, GMs to make that decision. Good thing we don't have to make that. But Tim, I'm kind of with you. I think out of the quarterbacks, I think I'd rather have Kenny than Malik, just from what I've seen on film.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know where either will go, but I'm not quite buying the Malik hype yet. I mean, I think he'll be great, but like, the stars were lining up and the media was getting hot and heavy, and it was like, oh, hold up.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
This is really random, but like, if I was a team, could I draft Cooper Manning? Like, just be like, you know what? Like, he's still going to be in college. Almost like when David Robinson was drafted by the Spurs and he had to serve overseas. Like, can we just go ahead and like if I've got the first pick, just draft Cooper Manning and I'll get him in 3 years or something? Just because the talent pool at quarterback is really going to be dead for the next few years. I mean, also, these guys could actually work out, and I could be eating my words, but I just don't see any of these quarterbacks working out.
I don't blame you. It's worth a shot, right, to try to take it. Like, because he seems like the can't miss prospect coming out. Like, he seems like he's going to be.
Like, I just think that's going to be the next draft where we go, oh, quarterbacks, they're back. Yeah. Like we actually have some excitement. I just think we've been spoiled for the past 3 seasons of having drafts loaded with quarterbacks.
Yeah. Let me give you one quarterback name, and you can mark this down. And this is the best take I'll ever have on the show.
I'm right on sticky.
Jarrett Garantano played for Tennessee. Then he went on and played for Washington State for a year. And Washington State had all that coaching mess and the COVID protocols and all that good stuff. Had a couple injuries at Tennessee, never got a full. He's going to be a sleeper guy that's like, he's going to last the longest in the league. He's going to do something special in the league. That's just my hot take.
Like, what do you mean by do something special? Like, win a playoff game?
I think he's going to have the better career out of any quarterback here.
Well, what does that mean? Ooh. I mean, these guys aren't even going to make the roster. So, like,
I guarantee you, Pickens.
You want to say like a pro? You want to say like a Pro Bowl?
He'll make a Pro Bowl.
Wins a playoff game. What do you want?
Wins a playoff game. I'll one of the two.
Wins playoff game. or a Pro Bowl. Okay.
Watch this guy not even get drafted.
Yeah.
But Matt, any draft sleeper must-have stay away for you?
I haven't been looking into it. The only prospect I was looking into was old David from Michigan, who we talked about last week, but only because he was British. I'll be honest, I don't really look that forward into the draft. But yeah, there we go.
I don't blame you. Well, there's one guy that we've had on the show before, and he's getting a lot of hype. Isaiah Likely, the number 3 tight end on the board. Yeah, he's ranked number 3 right now, sometimes 4, but I think Mel, he's ranked number 3 tight end. And so I'm curious to see. Hopefully he gets taken a little bit early on, and we get to see him have an amazing career because he was a pretty cool guy to have on. And yes, he played for Coastal, but we feel partial to him. All right, moving on from the draft, Tim. I know you had to be so jacked up yesterday. Not only did you get a single piece of good news, you get double dipping on good news for Motor City and the Lions. Lions are going to be on Hard Knocks this coming season. We can't wait to have it. And then you get the 2024 NFL Draft at Ford Field, baby. You've got to be ecstatic for this.
I like the draft. I don't mind that. Hard Knocks, we were talking a little bit before this. I've never actually watched any Hard Knocks. I've seen a couple clips back when I think it was the Raiders with Gruden. But I don't know. I'm kind of scared. Like there's this mystique about looking at I followed the Lions YouTube channel, and they'll have their press conferences and stuff, and I'll watch that. But there's this mystique of seeing that, but kind of peering behind the press stand and being like, oh, what's back there? Do I want to know? Do I even want to look, or do I just want to stay? I don't know. I'm nervous. I guess I'm going to watch it, and I guess I'll just give you guys my thoughts every week, but I'm kind of scared. I don't know if I like it.
I am so excited for you because if it couldn't be Cincinnati, I was like, please God, let it be Detroit, because Dan Campbell, stone cold in 2 pots of coffee every morning and just biting kneecaps. Oh, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be electric television.
I think y'all outbid or you guys beat the Packers for hosting the draft. The Packers have been we've been trying to get that in Lambeau or in Green Bay for I don't know how many years now. And I know our selling point is we're gonna have this great, we can talk about the NFL history and have people tour the stadium and all this, and they just won't do it. They're like, nope, not this year. We're not taking them to Green Bay. So hey, you beat the Packers at something. So that's there you go.
I think that just goes to show you, NFL, they understand what's coming, and it's the Lions. So you guys just be ready for it in a few years.
Yeah, Matt Fitz, how shitty is it that Cleveland got a draft before Green Bay?
I mean, it's just Green Bay's small market, small town. They're just, but bigger isn't always better. That's true.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
What are the chances that the Lions have the first pick in 2024?
We can do another bet here, Matt, because you didn't do great on the first one. I'm pretty sure the Jags will have a higher pick than the Lions in 2024.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm so tempted to take that. I'm so tempted.
The last bet was close. Ooh, that was close.
It was very close.
Tim, let him hang. Say the Lions are going to have a better draft position than the Packers in 2024.
Oh,
that actually isn't crazy.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm calling it.
Bet a mortgage on it. Let's go to work.
We're taking the division in a couple of years. I don't know what the problem is here. It's ours to take.
It's anybody's to take.
All the kneecaps getting bit off here.
Thanking them. Nom. Well, I'm excited for you, Tim. This is the season you have to watch Hard Knocks. I think it's going to be awesome. Other big NFL news, and this broke, I think, Wednesday, the day after we aired episode 95. But Tyreek Hill choosing to take his talents down to South Beach, returning home to Miami. Now, a lot of people saying the fastest wide receiver duo, Tyreek Hill, Jalen. I mean, what do you guys say here?
Oh, I didn't think of that. fastest receiver duo. I mean, not that makes you good.
Correct.
You know.
I don't think I thought about there'd be there's gonna be some serious pressure on Tua this season.
How fast is Tyler Lockett? Because I'm thinking of DK.
I'm not sure he's even in the neck of the woods.
They're not even in the conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Matt, you're right. There's been so many memes about like Tua and like just Tua. If you cannot get one of these guys the ball, the ship sailed on you. Like I hate to say it, and I think Tua will have a good year. I hope, but
it's his chance.
Miami, it's just a shitty organization. What they did to Brian Flores and stuff, but. This is his chance, Fitz. Like, if he can't get it done now, done, dead. Yeah. Put him through a table.
But hey, if Tua can ball out, this could be a sneaky team of the future. You know, they've had some pieces on. They've had defense kind of figured out the past couple of years. Well, kind of figured out, but then. Yeah, it just feels like they just need a running back. I don't know if they figured that out yet, but
you got Buffalo and then everybody else right there, and Patriots, Dolphins. I mean, it's really anybody's division. You're absolutely right, and the Jets, but forget them.
Well, they just also picked up Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I mean, there's a run game. Like,
I don't know. See, I think you need someone else there. Maybe they're playing the drafted guy. Maybe that's what they're going to try to go for. I don't know.
Yeah, Miami's going to be sneaky.
It's just crazy that the top two receivers playing with the top two quarterbacks. And you talk about Tyreek Hill with Mahomes, Devontae Adams with Rodgers, and they both left. And this one more significant because I think, Adams, he at least went to a playoff team. Like that's a team that, could be making a run here. But, Miami, there's not much going on there.
It's crazy. Like a lot of guys will leave to go get a ring. Hill's doing the opposite. I already got a ring. I don't need it.
I already got a ring. I'm going to go chill. I'm chilling with my boys. Yeah.
Me, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, we're hanging at the beach. Let's go.
Oh, man. Yeah. Will Smith.
Yeah. We'll talk. Tim's got a hot take, and I'm excited for it. We'll talk about it here in a second.
Okay. That's definitely the spud of the week right there.
But my mind was blown. He chose Miami, but he's from there. I get it. Maybe he's just mad that Juju and Jackson are going to make TikToks without him. I don't know. One more NFL set of news here. The Rooney Rule has been expanded, and a lot of rules broke today. But this one really significant because it forces NFL teams to hire a coach of minority for offensive staff's purposes. And they have to be a like not quality control, but like an actual position or coordinator coach. And it's only on offense, not defense. And so you got guys like Brian Leftwich and Brian Enemy who are really the only two minority coaches in offensive roles. A lot of minority coaches are more defensive sided, just in the NFL, the way it's shaken up right now. But this forces teams to hire a minority for the offensive side. How do you guys feel about that?
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really interesting.
It's a double-sided sword almost because, like, yes, the NFL, it's proven like it's a broken system and they do not hire minority coaches typically. And so something has to be done. But to force a team to do it, that's not a good message, right? That's not a good sign. But you have to force them so they will hire them. So I'm kind of torn on it.
It's just weird that it's got to be specifically offense. I think
it is super weird.
That's what's weird. Like if it was, your staff has to consist of blah, blah, blah. I don't think it'd be as weird.
Yeah.
But specifically offense, because it's almost like, are we hiring the best person for the job, or now we have to do that, but now we're not interviewing anyone who's Caucasian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just weird. Just like kind of weird. Like I don't know what you do with that.
I agree.
I understand the like. I don't know if I would want to say the purpose, but I understand like why they would want to implement something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the execution is just weird.
little head scratching. Yeah. Like I said, the only justification I could find is there was more minority coaches on the defensive side of the ball than offense by about double the amount. Matt, Tim, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, there's just no way you could implement more, if the minority coaches into the game without pissing people off or trampling on a few brambles. I like it. Yeah, there is the whole conundrum. Positive discrimination is still discrimination. But you would think or you would hope, say we do this for 10 years, 10 years, and then, we've got an X amount of people, in the game. And then after that, they go, oh, maybe we can get rid of that rule now because, there are good coaches to that level. There's a similar issue in Premier League football or just worldwide football where pretty much nearly all the football managers are white. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a take I heard from actually Stephen A. Smith. I don't listen to him, or I haven't listened to him often, but he had a really interesting point on this. And this was actually months ago. This was before this rule even came out. And Stephen A. said there's this perspective where, African American, or sorry, just black defensive coordinator coaches who do a great job. They work hard and they're promoted to a head coach position. And I think of like Anthony Lynn, where he did great as a defensive coordinator. His work ethic is through the roof. Like, he's tough nosed. He's he's just going to get the job done. But if you see these black offensive coordinators like Bieniemy, you start to see more of this shine go to the head coach. Oh, Eric Reed is
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is this offensive guru, and you're not seeing anything kind of given to Bieniemy, which, that's his perspective. But it was an interesting one where it was like, his point was that just because, an offensive position is thought to be more of a intellectual, you got to be smart to play this and to plan these things out. And the way Stephen A. had pitched it was that it's not necessarily viewed the same way on the offensive side as it is the defensive side with black coaches. So that is the only point I can think of as to why they targeted specifically an offensive position.
Yeah.
And I think it's a valid point, but like Matt had said, and everyone really, it's going to be an awkward position because now you can make the same argument the other way. We can't hire the person we want to hire. Well, that was the issue with the Rooney Rule. You had these these people come in for the interviews and to check these boxes. Well, are you hiring the person you want to hire, or are you doing it just to check a box? And so I don't know. It's tough. This isn't the way you want to go about it. You would hope that it would be more natural, but unfortunately, it's come to this because it just hasn't happened. So,
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I think everybody hit the nail on the head here for it. The other rule change that was announced today is that both teams get a chance with the ball in overtime in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, okay.
Yep, only in the playoffs. So now we don't have another Bills-Chiefs game where Josh Allen's sitting on the bench and he gets to watch his team lose because Bills defense couldn't stop anybody. Or on the flip side, Patrick Mahomes no longer sitting on the bench anymore, watching Joe Burrow take the team to the Super Bowl. So
what's the official rule?
Both teams will get a chance with the ball. So whether you go for two or kick, it's up to you. But
okay, because I saw one. They were as they were trying to draft it, they came up with one solution. So I don't think they decided on this, but they said if you scored a touchdown, if you kicked, the other team would get a chance. But if you went for two
and you got it,
it'd be over.
Yeah.
But it sounds like no, either way.
No, it seems either way. Yep.
Yeah, that's probably better too. Okay.
Only trying it for playoffs. So I'm curious to see how that goes, how that shapes up. Because if you're a team that was one game behind and you lose in overtime because of this, you're thinking, I could have been in the playoffs if we'd had this rule in the regular season. But I guess it's a tryout method.
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
Yeah, you don't like it?
Yeah, this is a terrible rule. Terrible. I don't care if it's postseason or regular season. It's like Mike Tomlin had a great quote, and he said, "You have 60 minutes to get it done. You don't need overtime. If you need overtime, then you're doing it wrong. You had 60 minutes to do it before."
That's
I
stupid.
like that's not stupid because now it's so
well, sometimes
okay.
sometimes it takes more than again, that's the whole point is in 60 minutes it's not even decided. The Bills Chiefs would even argue in overtime. That's why this rule came out. It wasn't decided. That game could have just kept going.
Right, and I think it ended appropriately. I don't have any issue with how it ended. I think
so. You like a coin deciding it?
Not necessarily. Like, look at the Bengals. Look at the Bengals.
Yeah, but the coin decided it, though.
But they had to get a defensive turnover, right, from Mahomes. This skews it even more towards the offense. Like, there's two sides of the ball, and you got to let the defensive step up when they need to. And I don't know. I don't like it. I thought it was fine how it was. I was even more in favor of. I think it was the. So I can't remember who came up with that rule or suggestion. The Ravens, right? With the Ravens, where it was like, the Titans. It was the Titans where they said, you score a touchdown, you get a 2-point conversion, you win. You kick a field goal, the other team gets. I even like that more than what they chose. What they chose is just.
I thought you were going to give me credit for coming up with the do what they do in soccer and have the field goal kickoff. I swear by that. I think with this new overtime rule, I feel like because what do you do once it's tied? Like if you score and you go for 2 and the other team gets a chance, they score, they go for 2. And then what do you do? And I'm like, dude, they should just do a kickoff, 30-yard line, 40, 50 till someone missed, like the soccer free kicks.
Shootouts. Yeah. I like it. Tim, I knew you woke up and chose violence when you rocked that black hoodie on for tonight. I was like, this man's coming for all the NFL hot takes. All right. Let's talk about a little March Madness, and then Matt's got a little footy corner for us, which I'm excited for because it deals with USA. But Final Four is ahead of us, and we have history. Duke, UNC, first time ever meeting in the NCAA championship tournament, and they're meeting in the Final Four, Coach K's last ride. How fitting is this? How amazing is this? Number 2, Duke versus number 8, UNC. On the other side, number 2, Nova versus number 1, Kansas. This is the blue blood Final Four. The best of the best programs historically are here pretty much. Who are we picking? Who's our winners? How do we feel at the tournament? It's about to go down.
Well, obviously, so crazy with Duke, North Carolina playing because of, we already thought it was Coach K's last ride. This is obvious, like what everyone's talking about. But like watching everyone in the what's Duke Stadium? I can't even think of the name. Cameron. Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't coming to mind. But everyone in Cameron, you had like JJ Redick, and you had
Christian Laettner.
You had Shane Battier, Grayson Allen, and they're all sitting there with the Mike McD face and rounders, where they're just, I can't believe we just like crapped out. Like I can't believe we just lost, like in Coach K's last game, and it's not over yet. I mean, they've got a chance to redeem, but how crazy would it be that they see North Carolina again in the Final Four and North Carolina hands them Coach K? Like, Coach K can't avoid it. Like, his last game is supposed to lose to North Carolina. Like, that's just destiny. Like, he's just supposed to lose to these guys, and he can't avoid it. So, either way, I mean, this is the most exciting matchup between these two teams with everything at stake. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm pumped for it, and fits on the flip side. I think Duke has been praying and wishing to the Blue Devil himself that UNC keeps winning so they get revenge for Cameron Indoor.
I don't think so. I think this is the one team they don't want to play.
That's your bias and my bias thrown through. But Tim, Matt, take it away. What do you got?
Yeah, I haven't watched a single
I hate this guy.
But I'm actually
in the group chat.
I think I'm actually gonna watch this game. Yeah, because the hometown rivalry. But really, like you guys had laid out, this is kind of matched up. Like the planets are aligned, and everything's, it's all leading to Saturday night, and it's going to be fun. Like whether you're a fan of these teams or not, the story behind it, there's going to be a documentary on this in 10, 20 years of how Saturday night goes and the trajectory of either team. I think I think the winner of Saturday night's game between these two will end up winning. But it's going to be electric. Matt, what do you think?
This is just a great story, isn't it? I feel like Coach K, he's got to dig deep now, surely, after being humiliated and embarrassed, in that the last game of the regular season. Sure, I would be back in Duke. I mean, it's 2 o'clock. The game's on at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I might not watch it, but I'll watch the highlights.
I love it.
Well, I think what's crazy is when they played at Cameron, in Duke, they're trying to win and lock a number 1 seed. And I just felt like after that game, I thought they're going to be done early. They're not going to make it to the Sweet 16. And I bet Jay Gray. I was like, I do not believe in the ACC. North Carolina was just so hit or miss this year. Like they could hang with the best, but then they would lose to somebody that they didn't deserve to. But they're just peaking at the right time somehow. I don't know how this run's worked out for them. I don't know if it's just the matchups they've had. I know Baylor was the weakest number 1 team, just as far as like injuries and probably being a little bit overrated just because they were the champs. UCLA was a favorable matchup for them. It's just kind of worked out. I mean, and you got St. Peter's in the Elite Eight. I mean, you get to play against the 15 seed. That this is kind of just worked out for them. And that's where I worry about this Duke matchup. Like, I feel like Duke could really hand them, like they could just demolish Carolina. They could beat Carolina by like 16, and it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, the Tar Heels they're kind of the imposters. I don't know if they deserve to be here. Still trying to figure out Hubert Davis too. Because like if you look at I want to jump to the other coaches or the other teams there. It's like you look at the coaches in this Final Four. You got Coach K, you got Bill Self, and Jay Wright. And, for Bill Self, I don't think he's won as many as we thought he would. And this is a chance for him. This is a Kansas team that I think it's like, okay, it's Bill Self's turn. But then Jay Wright, if Jay Wright wins, it's how many championships for Villanova in the past decade? This might be number 3 for them.
Yeah.
So, like, then you put Jay Wright in the conversation. Is Jay Wright, the greatest college coach of the last decade that taken Villanova to the top? So it's very interesting. And with North Carolina, it's doing this without Roy Williams. Roy Williams is watching from the stands, like that's my team. And you got Hubert Davis, and we're all trying to figure out. Like Hubert Davis was supposed to be the coach who came in for like a couple years before they figured out who the next guy is going to be. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, well, what happens now? Like if Tim's prediction works out, if they beat Duke, win the Natty, Hubert Davis, is he the next best thing? It's wild that the Heels are still here.
Yeah, it's real wild. I think you're right. It's, Roy Williams was in that spot where he was taking over for Dean Smith, and they were like, he'll be a filler role. And then Roy Williams has a great career. So yeah, that's a good comparison. I think Hubert Davis, seems he's off to a great start. Slate just joined us. Slate, Final Four prediction. Who you got for us, big dog?
Hashtag ride the Cox.
Cox ain't in it anymore.
It's bullshit. It's rigged.
Hey, shout out to the Peacocks though. Every time they were on, they'd show Doug Either, the guy with the hair and the mustache, and I would just quote Dodgeball. Look at the hair, Cotton, feathered and lethal. You just don't see it these days.
Who's in the Final Four? I know Carolina, Duke. Obviously, you got to be from Carolina. Got to care.
Nova, Kansas.
Nova, Kansas. All right, let's go. Sweet, sweet revenge tour. Coach K versus Rock Chalk Jayhawk. And let's go Duke. I like that. I think Coach K deserves that. I know
Let's go.
The greatest, but
that's what the people want.
I'll give him that.
Hey, Jay Gray's pumped. She's a big Jayhawk fan, so she's pumped for this matchup. Pumped for this weekend. Going to be some great Final Four action. Tip off Saturday night. I think Duke and UNC have the first game at 7 or 8 o'clock, and then Nova, Kansas have the later game. So
Jay Gray's a Kansas fan?
Jay Gray has a lot of weird affiliates.
What?
It's weird. Jay Gray has the weirdest college team she roots for that make no sense whatsoever.
Seems like the biggest troll. I'm just gonna pull for whoever's number one right now.
It's something Tim would do, but Jay Gray knows the mascots. Obviously, she knows the background
it's something
history.
Tim would do, but without the satire.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for these games. It's gonna be awesome. Speaking of games, Matt, you got some great footy action for us. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so we'll start things off with the Canadians. They had a bit of a mishap last Thursday, but they did come back and they beat Jamaica 4-0, which means they are going to the World Cup for the first time since '86. And they're a very good side, a very good team. They've got some great European players. Well, players that play in Europe, you know what I mean? Alfonso Davies plays for Bayern Munich, plays from every game. He's unbelievable. And they've got a few players that play in the French league. There'll be a serious force going forward into the World Cup this year and the World Cup next year because Canada are kind of hosting it.
Yeah. Hey, plus they have all those players, but they have a sword, Matt. You're not even talking about the sword. They have a sword that they travel with that has Qatar 2022 written on it. It says slice out fear or something in Latin or whatever it is. And they carry this thing to every match they go to. But the only match that they couldn't take it to because customs took it was Costa Rica. That's why they lost.
Wow.
No way.
Yep. Found that out today. I was like, all right, we've got to talk about this fucking sword because this is something Tim would be like, yeah, we got a sword for soccer. It's fine.
That's unbelievable.
I love that.
God. That is so cool. Yeah, I could get well behind that. I absolutely love
What kind of sword is it?
I don't know.
Is it like a katana or a long sword? Or
it's a long sword. It's like a medieval sword. It's the handle's right there. I don't know what the
all I can see is the effect of the handle.
Yeah. It's your standard broadsword. Yeah. Nice even kilt weight.
Perfectly balanced.
One finger.
As all things should be.
I wonder if they named the swords.
Oh yeah, I bet they did.
Mm.
Old Maple.
Something like that. But yeah, so congrats to Canada. Unbelievable. We'll see who they got in the group stage of the actual World Cup. And then we'll move on to the States. Thursday night had an absolute bore draw with Mexico, but they did what you did. They didn't lose. But in the next game, they absolutely battered Panama. And Christian Pulisic had an absolute cracking game. Got a hat trick. Unbelievable. Couple of penalties in there as well. Panama terrible at tackling people. This was a great game, and just shows off, on home soil, USA actually really good. I think their record on home soil is ridiculous. They've scored 14 goals to 3 against. which is really ridiculous considering the teams they're playing against. But yeah, USA on the cusp of qualification to the World Cup, just the cusp. Thursday night, they are playing. Sorry, Wednesday night, they are playing Costa Rica. USA are through to the World Cup if they don't lose 6-0. If they lose 5-0, they're through. If they lose 6-0, they're out. So USA on 22 points, USA on 25, Costa Rica on 22, but USA have a much better goal difference than Costa Rica. Yeah, they should be absolutely fine. They should well be in the World Cup. If they somehow didn't make it, this would be the weirdest thing ever to happen. It'd be absolute bonkers. But if America lose and Costa Rica win by 2 or 3, and Mexico lose, it means Mexico get knocked out. So that might be quite exciting to watch. And Mexico have got, they've got El Salvador, who aren't very good. So they should win anyway, but it doesn't matter.
Come on. El Salvador, great country, great footy. I have to defend them here, Matt. Don't put me in that box.
Lovely
Don't you
people,
do that.
Lovely people, lovely country. I know it very well. But the football,
We're going to stop right there. All right. No, this game's exciting. And like you said, U.S. just can't lose by 6-0. If we lose 6-0, we don't deserve to be in the World Cup anyways.
Yep, 100%.
If you're going to bet on this game Wednesday night, what are you taking? You taking Costa Rica money line, U.S. money line, draw, not even touching it?
I think there'll be a bit of rotation, and I think might try a few youngsters. The game is away. Costa Rica are really strong at home. They just beat Canada. And Costa Rica are going to send absolutely everything forward. I actually might think Costa Rica might win this, actually.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be an absolute. It's going to be like 1 or 2. It's not going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I like the over-under at 1.5 goals. I feel like that's super low for this game. I feel like I'm going to hammer that over, right?
Take that. Take that. 100%.
Good deal.
One more thing about football.
Mm-hmm.
The World Cup group stage draw is on Friday. So once this comes out, we will all know who England, Canada, USA, hopefully, Brazil, Argentina, Germany, France, etc., who they've got in the World Cup. So that is very exciting to see. So next time we could be talking about England playing the States in the World Cup.
We've got to put something on that if that happens. Oh, I'm excited. This is going to be awesome.
So there we go.
Good deal. Thank you, Matt. Good footy corner. All right. Real quick before I run a question. Stud to spud, spud to stud. We've kind of preluded this a little bit. What do we got? Just take it, Matt. I know you want it. Take it.
There?
Okay, well, my spud is not going to be what happened in Oscars. My spud is going to be the Italian national football team. After winning the Euros, they are knocked out at the World Cup. They will not be at the World Cup. They had to go through playoffs for like a second way to get into the World Cup. And they had to play North Macedonia, a tiny little country, good footballing nation, but, Italy should be battering them, absolutely smacking them. There's this Italian striker, Mattia Berardi. He missed about 6 seriously good chances. 6 chances. Italy had about 14 corners in the game. It was ridiculous. North Macedonian goalkeeper was about the busiest man alive. And in the 94th minute, ball was sent long. It dropped down, and this North Macedonian lad just absolutely kicks it, and it went bottom left corner, and it was absolute raptures. And it was hilarious, and it felt so good to watch. So good.
It is wild to think Italy, goes from the highest to highs to the lowest to lows real quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, my stud to spud, I think it has to be Will Smith, but that's totally not sports related.
Hey, let's let it roll, baby.
I think it trumps everything else this week.
Yeah, I don't have a good one this week.
Honestly, I'm going with the Peacocks. I'm really disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm so upset.
Hammered the plus 7.5. Hammered it.
Yeah, it got what's that going to be about 20? Something
Yeah.
like that. Insane. Yeah. Sorry, Doug. Love you, but come on, man.
What are we doing? No, on the flip side of that, though, there are 15 seeds that make the Elite Eight. Saheed Holloway has done an amazing job with that program, and you hate to see a Cinderella run end that way. You hope it was a closer game. I hope it was a closer game. It ruined my parlay, but other than that, I felt real good. And so on the flip side of that coin, Saheed Holloway, we didn't even know his name. We didn't know St. Peter's existed up until this tournament, and that's my spud to stud.
Yeah, he's off to Seton Hall now, the head coach. That's what I saw. So
I believe it.
Kind of stud the spud St. Peter's. Like this may be it. But what a way to go out. I mean, what a way to ride off in the sunset. I mean, obviously you'd like to get to a Final Four or natty, but Elite Eight's pretty solid.
Yeah. Solid AF. All right. Random question.
I got one. If you guys don't have anyone off the top of your head,
As long as it's not about potatoes.
I want it.
I don't know if we've done this, so stop me if you've heard it before. If you could see any two people in a slap boxing fight, who would it be? I gotta go first. I'm sorry. I want to see a heavyweight title, Chris Rock, Will Smith. I think if you give Chris Rock a healthy chance, he might put down Will. He's got the crazy strength in him.
I think it's a lot.
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, you look at Will. He doesn't even have a good stance. He was off kilt. I don't know. And Chris
that's an
Rock
emotional slap, though.
But Chris Rock clearly took that emotional slap, and he wasn't even expecting it, and he took it. He just sat up and he was just I just got the shit hit out of me. But he ate it. Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be a good pay-per-view event. What are y'all's picks?
I agree, though. I agree.
I'm going Juwan Howard and Will Smith.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God. And Will Smith?
They're crazy enough to assault people in public.
They're about that life. Now put them in sanctioned events. Let's see what happens.
Speaking of, going off, piggybacking off that, I'm going Charlie Murphy, Rick James. I mean, we need that. We need that.
Bring
that
it back.
might actually play out.
Oh, can't top that.
Charlie Murphy.
What the 5 fingers say to the face?
If I had to pick one that's recent at a celebrity feud, it's going to be Kanye and Pete Davidson.
Oh,
yes. Now this
down
one's
for that.
pay-per-view.
All right, I got the match of all matches. I got the mom of the kid that gets eaten in Jaws, Miss Kittner, and Hasbullah.
What?
Because the Kittner mom slaps the shit out of Chief Brody. I mean, just slaps the absolute piss out of him. And Hasbullah is just unhinged. So that's the matchup I want.
He's a menace.
Yeah.
He's a menace
That
for
is.
sure.
That Sunday conversation with Caleb Presley and Barstool, that was awesome. Oh my gosh. Hey, great show. Can't thank Adam Breneman enough. Go check him out on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. He's got some really dope things coming out and some
We
great
got to do the
interviews.
parlay.
Oh, no. Pub parlay. What are we doing? Keep it a little scrappy. Thanks,
Save
man.
best for last.
It's been so bad we forgot.
Yeah, it's been rough. But we're going to change how we're doing this thing. I'm putting a 100 on whatever we bet.
No.
Don't
We're
do it.
laying it down, and we're
Don't do
winning
it.
big. I'm trying to win big enough so all 5 of us can quit our day jobs and just do this full time. Even get Matt a green card over here. Okay, that's how big we're going.
Oh, no. I don't like
Flights are
this
quite
at
cheap
all.
as well.
I'm betting $5 on mine.
Oh no,
Just an easy 5.
we're doing it. Let them hang, Fitz.
I got a safe pick. Well, not a. It's a little bit of a risk, but I think there's a chance it could hit. Do you want me to start us off?
Start it.
I got Charlotte Hornets over the Philadelphia 76ers Saturday. It's a 12:30 game, which is always weird, like a noontime game.
Okay.
Hornets have been hot, so have the Sixers, but Hornets, they're trying to fight for that final playoff spot. And I don't know. I'm feeling it, I think. So I don't know. If you're trying to hit big, I guess we just gotta take it straight up. Not even look at the points.
Go big, baby. I love it. Even though 76ers are pretty damn hot right now. But we're going for it.
Hornets have been on a roll. I think they lost to the Nuggets by 4, but then they beat like the Nets and a few other teams.
Yeah. All right. So they got Saturday. So if we're doing anything, let's go Saturday.
Shit.
Final 4 games are Saturday. That's why I picked Saturday.
Not all of them. The women's college basketball is.
Oh, we could do those too. We could do those too.
Money. I'm going.
Oh wait, no.
UConn.
No, we can't. Sorry,
Jesus.
NBA's weird. I know.
Well, in that case, I'm going to go boring. Chelsea to beat Brentford.
Nice.
Saturday.
Premier League's back Saturday.
Premier League's back. Premier League's back this Saturday.
Love it.
I'm going to take Colorado Avalanche over Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday.
Oh, dude, the Avalanche have been hot.
Well, Pittsburgh just came off that monstrous 11-2 whomping. But I think the Avalanche, they're going to crush them. Give me the Avalanche. Straight up.
Hey, where's that at? Is that in Pittsburgh?
No, Colorado, eh?
I love it. The high altitude. Let's go. We're hitting big. We're about to stop all our day jobs, baby. Let's go.
Shit, I'm lost here. I'm lost. I was ready to hammer UConn.
Find it.
Do you know who plays Saturday?
Let's go. Do what?
Do you know who plays on Saturday this week? Your Wolves.
Oh no. Well, let's go Wolves. I don't care who they're playing. We're going with the Wolves. if you need a big parlay to hit, then you always back the Wolves.
Who are they playing?
Aston Villa. Now, higher in the league, it is they call a Midlands derby. They've got good odds, and I actually think they're going to win.
Let's go. Let's go.
Wolves.
God, this has got sweeter. I'm taking Duke -4.5. They're covering the spread.
Oh, I hate that. You got to stay away from the.
Hate it. All you want. I'm taking it.
Hey.
Hammer it. All you hate is ball.
Can't touch Tobacco Road.
Fitz, every pick you've made for March Madness, I'm like,
I know, but I wouldn't touch Tobacco
I've gone the
Road.
opposite. I've made so much money this past week off you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Hey Matt, next week, me and you, we got to talk F1 because I'm invested.
Oh yes, we will. We will indeed.
Hey, I love it. We'll catch you guys next week for another amazing episode. We're only 4 episodes away from 100 right now. Big time stuff coming. Year 2 coming up. Big stuff. DeMarco Jackson coming on next week. We got 2 players from Savannah Banana Slugs coming on the week after that. Smack Apparel coming on the week after that. After that, we got guests lined up left and right, baby. Let's go. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday.
Bye.
Have a wonderful time.
Go Heels.
In a bit, go well.
You had to slow that in there, didn't you, Fitz?
Yeah, I'm gonna be struggling to pull with them with
their
parlay.
point guard. I don't know what he runs in a 40, but that man is quick.
Yo, I fuck with the Spiders, man. And just like Richmond in general is a good place to hang out. I'm going to pick them just off the strength.
Like had a love for Crocodile Hunter, I thought you were gonna go Stingray, and you were just gonna
no.
choke it out, baby. Get your revenge.
Yeah, I'm just man. I'm gonna have like a Yes jam session after this. It's great.
Yeah, they're so good.
How's the journey?
Fitzmagic in September is like one of the hottest athletes in the world.
Whoever's fighting for that that's the worst take.
Exactly.
That's a bad beat.
Traditional football, or throw beer cans and jump off the top rope and elbow defender. I don't know.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.